All right, at this time, good afternoon, I should say, to everyone that's here. At this time, we will call to order the Rio Rancho Public School Board meeting. We will have Board Member Jessica Tyler will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right. JC, you want to take roll, please?
President Galbraith, Vice President Morgan,
Present.
Secretary Tyler,
Present.
Board Member Tripp,
Present.
Board Member Miller.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right. Again, welcome to the Rio Rancho School Board meeting on Monday, July 14th, 2025. At this time, we'll have introductory comments by our superintendent.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for being here with us. It's apparent that the middle of July is not the largest attendance for a school board meeting, but we're glad that everyone is here. Thank you for being here this evening. Just a couple of things up front. I'd like to remind everybody the new Rio Tech CTE Center will be open for the community to see it. If you've not been able to get over and see it recently, it's really worth a visit. Most everything is now in, and the equipment is in, and it's a pretty impressive facility. And it will be open, anyone who would like to see it, on the 30th of this month from 6 to 8. And we are doing really well with the staffing. We have, Dr. Johnson tells me, has all of the teachers selected for the campus except for one science teacher. So if anyone is aware of a science teacher who might be looking for something that's very different and new, this would be a wonderful opportunity. There is also, there's a lot of construction going on the site, which is going to make it a little more problematic, I think, maybe for parking. But there's enough room, and because it's late, all the businesses across will not be there. And so we think there'll be plenty of room for people to park. The construction that's going on is pretty major, and that is the beginning of the C&M Automotive Center. And it's that whole project is also underway right now. So it looks very different on the site. We have certainly some special things related to the calendar. I want to remind everyone that we have two different calendars this year. One is elementary and one is secondary. It's not a lot of changes, but there are enough. The parents who have children who are both elementary and secondary age should make arrangements to accommodate the required changes. These changes came about because of regulations from the Public Education Department. And as I said, they're not major, but parents should plan for that early on. And both of our calendars can be found on our website. We are literally on the countdown to the start of the new school year. It's hard to imagine. Here we are in the middle of July, and in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, we'll be starting a new school year. Patrick has shared that as of right now, things look good for the facilities. And so they're watching, but you never know with all the heat we've had and a lot of things. Air conditioning is always a little bit of a challenge this time of year. But so right now there are no facility delays across the district, and they are watching some things very carefully. We have one of the best ever new staff induction programs for both elementary and secondary teachers. This year, during the in-service, there will also be some professional development added for our educational assistants who have been asking for more training and more support. And so really glad to see that addition for a very large number of staff in our district. We have AP training coming up at Independence High School, and then our staff will report for district in service. We will have a Jump Start Day, but it's different than anything we've had in the past. The Jump Start will be optional because we could not count it anymore as a school day. We've always counted a school day in the past. Can't do that anymore. And so we will have transportation, we will have opportunities for our secondary students to do a Jumpstart Day, but it is strictly an optional service for kids and for families. Really encourage people to take advantage of it, whether you're moving from elementary to middle school or middle school to high school. It just helps students get acclimated, and it's always a really, really nice day. And then everyone, all of our students show up on August the 7th, and so we are really closing in on all of that. But we've got a lot now from now to the start of the school year, and it's going to be, it's been all summer, really busy. As I've shared with you before, the move over time, over many years from 3 months to 2 months, makes it really challenging to get things done in the summer. Buildings cleaned, facility projects done, IT projects done, and that we do the very best we can with the time that we have allocated. But it really, really goes fast in the summer. So this is kind of how we feel right now. It's just moving faster and faster, you know, and but we're going to be ready, and we know that we've got some challenges to get some things done, but we've got this. We're focusing on what we left before we actually have to start the new year. Okay. We have some funding. We're getting asked by a lot of the media, and I know some of you have also been asked, so the media, about what it looks like for federal funding and concerns about funds being held back, and where are we on it and what's our position. So we at the present time it looks like there's about $780,000 in title funding that has been pulled back and under review, and we don't know what that. Whether that will move forward or not, but it's significant, but it's not as much as some other districts, and the reason for that is we don't get as much federal funding as a lot of other districts do in the state. We certainly are concerned about the loss of any federal funding, and we monitor this situation very carefully. There are a couple of areas that we are watching really closely, and we just would really be most impactful for our district if we were to lose funding. For example, Medicaid is, we pay for almost all of our healthcare services in this district through Medicaid. And so that's how we pay for our school nurses, that's how we pay for some of our health assistants, it's how we pay for some of the other supports, the support staff that support our programs for our students in the health areas. And so for us, it's about $6 million next year that Medicaid funds, and so that's what we would miss out of the budget. We're not assuming that we're going to lose that money. We have not heard that, but we are watching it. The other two big areas that we are watching very carefully and would be very challenging if we were to lose any funding in, and that is special education and food service. And we have really benefited as a school district from the changes in food service over the last several years, where all children can be fed, and we're really hoping that we can continue to do that. It's not only, number one is that all children get fed, which is the most important thing, but when you have that steady revenue source coming in and you're going to have it, you have a lot better chance of developing quality programs and maintaining them. And when you had the old system of not knowing from week to week, month to month, what the counts were going to look like. But it's, those are just things we're watching. We certainly don't have any kind of information that these would be impacted as of yet. And we'll keep you informed. We'll keep the community informed. But we really, there's just so much we don't know. And we're trying to be very careful, what we say, because we want to be sure that what we say is accurate and that we share important information, but we also are sure that we're not sharing misinformation. So it's, we're just watching this. But federal funds are an important issue in our state, and so it's hopeful that we will have decisions that are made that are positive in terms of impact on our children and on our families. This evening we have a bond sale and finance plan update. Eric Harrigan with RBC Capital Markets will be presenting to you information regarding the proposed Series 2025 bond sale, as well as the finance plan update. He will discuss the history of our assessed valuation, and we'll share some information about historic tax rates. I will just say one thing, over many years, the districts worked very hard to maintain consistent tax rate, and I think that's been a factor in our ability to have bonds passed with a pretty significant level of support. Eric will also review the current debt service requirements for the district, and he will present finance plans options and then a timeline for the election for proceeding with the sale and election. He will also be sharing with you some other economic issues that he believes are impacting the district. He shared one with you the other night, the adjustment in support of our veterans and what that might look like for our district. Every year in New Mexico and other states, school boards are required to have a resolution confirming their understanding and implementation of the Open Meetings Act. And so they must conduct all of the business in open meetings, and the public should be given a reasonable notice, and we very carefully comply with those requirements. The Board of Education is also required to adopt this resolution in order to comply with the Open Meetings Act and also with the board's own policy 208. The purpose of this resolution is set to share what the board considers to be a reasonable notice to the public for the upcoming meetings. And I would just have to say that JC does a wonderful job with that, and we're very conscious of it and try very hard to be in compliance with the act. And Lauren Hatch will be sharing some additional information with you as our chief counsel. And then there are two important actions the board is asked to act on this evening. One is to consider establishing an estimated debt service property tax rate, and the second is to authorize the issuance of bond series 2025. And again, these presentations will be made by Eric Harrigan and also Catherine McKinney with the Module Sperling firm, who is bond counsel. We have a first reading related to policy 1033 on the wireless communication devices. And this will be presented by Michelle Havel, who is our Executive Director of Student Services. Rio Rancho was already way ahead of the curve on this particular topic. We have removed phones from classrooms now for quite a while. And so, but there are some changes. This will be the first reading, so no action can be taken this evening. But while we have made great strides, there are just some things that need to be adjusted in the policy. And so Lauren will be bringing that to the board this evening. Again, these changes are a result of legislative actions that were taken during the last session. There seems to be a very strong level of support from the governor's office and from the legislature to get that distracting influence out of our classrooms, and we did see significant positive changes with the move to remove phones during the instructional time in classrooms. We have, I think the biggest difference is that everyone really needs to understand that this is now statutory. It's a statutory requirement, and it's required for all districts, for staff, parents, and students. And for the first time, some consequences for noncompliance. And so we are asking for everybody's help and support to make sure that we can be in compliant with this new regulation. It is, I've had several questions asked about, is it just phones? And no, it isn't. It's other devices, and one of the more challenging devices we're dealing with today are watches. But there just should be none of that communication during the instructional time period. And it's, our teachers have shared with us it made a huge difference as we took a stronger stand on putting those phones and other media away during class time. It was amazing. They kind of heard what teachers were saying, but more importantly, there was better interaction among the students themselves. Everyone focused, on their phone in front of them. So we think we made the right decision, but we will do this 2 readings this policy just to tweak it a little bit to be more in compliant with the actual statute. And then we have a request for proposal award this evening, and the board is asked to consider the award of RFP number 2025-19, and this is for food and beverage vending machine services. This information will be presented by Michael Madrid, who is our Director of Purchasing and our Chief Procurement Officer. And there are 3 companies that will be presented for approval as vendors for food and beverage vending machines. Do you have any comments or any questions or any more information on any of these items? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clerk. At this time, need to get approval for the prioritized agenda.
This is Board Member Tyler. I'll make a motion to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations.
Gary Tripp, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We good, Josie? Thank you. Now we'll move on to the report section of our meeting at this time. The Rio Rancho Public School Board Bond Sale and Finance Update.
Thank you for being here this evening.
Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon. Good to see you all again. So I'm back again to last time I was here, the board was considering and approved sending a question to voters. And what I'm here for you today and talking about is actually issuing bonds from the authorization that voters already has given the district a couple of years ago. And so you'll see kind of similar information. So I'll kind of be somewhat speedy to go through the presentation, but we have provided a history of your assessed valuation. We have seen some preliminary values coming out suggest that the district's tax base will grow by about 5% for this upcoming tax year, which is good to see. And then over the last 5 years, you've grown on average of about 11%. On page 2 of the presentation, we have a history of your tax rates. I'll point to your attention specifically the general obligation bond. Your GO bond tax rate is $8.54. As mentioned by Dr. Cleveland in her comments, the district has had that tax rate in place for a long time. The issuance of these bonds will continue to maintain that tax rate. And later on in the agenda, you also have a resolution that just will assist with the district and us in working with PED to set your tax rate at the same rate as was last year. On page 3 of the presentation, the district pays off its debt very quickly. This allows us to layer in additional bonds and continue to maintain that tax rate. We do periodically review your debt for any potential refundings to be able to lower your interest rate. Bad news is interest rates are high. Good news is all of your outstanding debt has relatively low interest rates. And so at this point in time, there's no recommendation to refinance or lower any of your outstanding bonds. After the issuance of these upcoming series of bonds, the district will be about 48% bonded to capacity. So in November of 2023, voters authorized the issuance of up to $80 million. Last year, the district sold its first series of those bonds in the amount of $20 million. For this upcoming sale, the district plans to sell $28 million. And then the remaining $32 million will be sold as needed by the district. As I did mention in the last meeting about the new veterans exemptions that were approved by voters, the finance plan does take this into account when we're looking to sell these $28 million in bonds. And again, As mentioned, it continues to maintain the $8.54 tax rate that the district has had in place for a long time. From a timing standpoint, subject to your approval later on in the agenda of the authorizing resolution, we'll move forward with preparing the official statement, which we will be back before the board to present that official statement to you. And then we plan to be in the market in early September. The district, we recommend that the district sell these bonds through a competitive sale process. And what this does is that it allows investment banking firms from all across the country to submit a bid on the district's bonds, and then the lowest bidder is award the bonds. However, in the resolution that you have before you, it authorizes actually the sale of both competitive sale and negotiated sale. And the reason that we have that in a negotiated sale is where the district would actually hire an underwriter to sell those bonds, simply because there's just been a tremendous amount of volatility in the market. And sometimes, week by week, day by day, there can be announcements that can, significantly change, market dynamics. And we wanted to make sure that the district had sufficient, and the most amount of flexibility to be able to issue its general obligation bonds. But as of right now, we anticipate that the district to issue those as competitive sales, open that up for investment banking firms to bid on those. And then the bonds would close on or around October 1st. And that's when funds would be available for the district to expend on the projects. There's a couple of slides on the market, and I'll just kind of summarize it in that, rates kind of peaked about a couple of months ago. We have started to see rates tick down. A lot of the sort of increase in interest rates earlier this year was a lot of that had to do with the uncertainty of the announced tariffs and the impact on inflation. That really has not happened yet. Inflation has stayed fairly tame, but things can change. We do have consumer price index numbers come out this week, as well as PPI, so we'll get kind of a better idea of where inflation is headed after those reports. Given the current market, we anticipate the interest rate to be somewhere in the 3.5% to 3.8% range. And with that, I'd be certainly happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, board members? Hello, Dr. Cleveland, any thoughts, comments? Okay, Eric, I do want to apologize. Your name was not at the bottom of the agenda. It goes on to the next page. When I introduce you doing the bond, I didn't see your name, so I want to say I'm sorry, man. Okay, all right, I apologize, so thank you. But thanks for your time. We appreciate you. All right. We'll see you back up shortly then, right? Okay, then. All right. At this time, I don't think we have any public comments, correct? We didn't see any online either, so I will announce that if anybody has public comments, again, you could go on the Rio Rancho Public School Board page, and there's a section there where you could put your public comments there, okay? All right, with that being said, we'll move on to the approval of the motion and approval for the consent agenda.
Board Member Tyler, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Tyler.
Beth Miller, I'll second the motion.
Yeah. Jason, you want to take a vote on this one? All right.
Secretary Tyler?
Yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Vice President Morgan?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next, we'll move to business. Consideration approval of resolution number 25-001, Open Meetings Act by Lauren Hatch.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Members of the board, Dr. Cleveland, here on a fairly routine matter, but it is required by statute. We come to you pretty much every year in July for the standard Open Meetings Act notice, reasonable notice resolution. And 25-001 is that resolution for this year. I will tell you, this is basically verbatim of the one that you passed last year. The only differences are the dates, really. And what this proposes for you to adopt is that when the board calls a regular meeting, that you will give at least 10 days notice. And when the board calls a special meeting, you'll give at least 72 hours, 3 days notice. And if there's an emergency meeting, that we do the best to provide 24 hours notice for an emergency meeting. Emergency meetings are very rare. In the last 6 years, I don't think we've had to call one. So, and then there's some requirements that you have to do with the Attorney General's office if you call an emergency meeting. That is essentially it. We'd recommend that you adopt this resolution, and I stand for any questions.
Any questions, board members?
No questions. The copy in our packet was pretty blurry for some reason on like the dates, but other than that, I don't think we have any questions, but I could see that they're listed out. Looks pretty.
State also, the Attorney General's office does put out guidelines on what they consider reasonable notice.
Right. Gary, any questions?
No question.
All right. Have a motion and approval, if you don't mind.
Mr. Vice President, this is Board Member Tyler. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-001, the Open Meetings Act.
Gary Tripp, I second.
Okay, Jason, we'll take a vote. You don't mind, please?
Secretary Tyler?
Yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Vice President Morgan?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll have the consider approval of the resolution, okay, number 25002, establishing an estimated debt service property tax rate. Mr. Eric, thank you. And Catherine, see, I got it right that time, see? All right.
Vice President, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland, Eric Heron with RBC Capital Markets, and Catherine McKinney with the Module Law Firm is also available to answer any questions. Thought I would just take the lead on this since this has to do with the tax rate. So what this resolution simply states is that it's the desire of the board to have the Public Education Department work with Department of Finance and Administration to get the tax rate set at $8.54. And this is consistent with what the district's historical debt service tax rate is. And that's pretty much it. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I don't think, any questions? Dr. Cleveland, thoughts?
No, I think he's going to win. This is pretty much what we have done historically, so I think you're pretty familiar with it.
Okay, I'll take a motion and approval, please.
Board Member Tyler, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-003, authorizing the issuance, 25-002, establishing an estimated debt service property tax rate.
Beth Moore, I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, thank you. You'll continue to stand for the next one, right?
I'm gonna let
Okay, that's fine. All right, so number 3 is the consider approval of the resolution number 25-003, authorizing the insurance of Series 2025 bonds by Ms. Catherine McKinney.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice President Morgan, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland. I'm Catherine McKinney. I'm with the Model Sperling firm. We serve as your bond counsel. Before you tonight is a resolution authorizing 28 million of the bonds that were authorized by voters back in 2023. Currently, you have 60 million in authorization that is unissued after last year's issuance. These are payable from the property taxes imposed on all property taxable property within the district. Similar to your other bond resolutions, this is a delegation resolution in which the board authorizes both the superintendent and the executive director of finance to determine the final terms of the bonds within the parameters that are set forth in Section 4 of the resolution. And those parameters are indicate the maximum par amount of 28 million, that the final maturity will not exceed August 1st of 2042, that the interest rate won't exceed 10%, which is the maximum statutory rate, as Eric indicated. it's likely to be much lower than that. That the bonds will be sold via a competitive sale or a negotiated sale. And sounds like we're headed towards a competitive sale, but to allow the district the maximum flexibility in the time of market volatility, we've provided both alternatives for the delegate to decide in consultation with RBC. The maximum underwriting discount on the bonds will be 3%, and the bonds won't be sold for less than par plus accrued interest. So those are the main parameters established in Section 4. The resolution also appoints BOKF to serve as paying agent registrar on your bonds. This is similar to your other bond issues. The form of the paying agent registrar agreement is included in your packets and is approved as to form in the resolution. So from this point, the offering document will be formulated and will be back before the board on August 11th for that approval. And as Eric mentioned, proceed towards the sale on September 9th with the proceeds available on October 1st. Happy to answer any questions on the resolution or the process as Eric through it.
Any questions? I got one. You mentioned negotiated and competitive sale. What is that? Can you explain that to me, please? Thank you.
Vice President Morgan, members of the board. The negotiated sale is one in which it would be similar to your 2023 sale. And in that sale, you hired an underwriter, specified an underwriter ahead of time, and they purchased the bonds. It was still sold in the public markets, but through an underwriter. Eric can correct me if he has additional details on this. In the competitive sale, there are multiple bidders that bid on your bonds on the sale date. Bidding is open for half an hour. The best bidder in that time period is then awarded the bonds. So that's really the main difference.
All right. Thank you so much. I kind of had an idea what the competitor was, just to negotiate one. I didn't. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'll stand for a motion approval.
Board Member Tyler, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 25-003, authorizing the issuance of Series 2025 bonds.
Board Member Miller, I second the motion.
Okay. JC, you want to take a vote, please?
Secretary Tyler?
Yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Vice President Morgan?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I'd like to just add, thank you both for the work that goes into this. This came out a little sooner than we originally thought we would be doing this. And so, but we appreciate all the time and effort. This is a major project and we know how much goes into it. And we appreciate working well with the district to make this a reality to the community. This is going to allow us to be able to finish some projects that we've not been able to do. As all public bodies, we have really struggled under the rising costs of construction, trying to finish projects, trying to meet the commitments we said that we were going to do for the community. The board's always tried very hard to meet those commitments. And so this is going to help us do that. And it's an extremely important election to the district. And again, we appreciate all of your help and support in getting ready for this bond sale.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Clerk. Next, we'll have a first reading for policy 1033, wireless communication devices by Michelle Havel, Executive Director of Student Services.
Good evening, Vice President Morgan, members of the board, and Dr. Cleveland. I'm Shelley Havel, the Executive Director for Student Services, and I'm bringing to you our new policy. It's a brand new policy in response to Senate Bill 11 for that anti-distraction in schools. Just to preface a bit, we're fortunate that this isn't drastically different from what we've already expected from students. It just formalizes some of those expectations that support not only our admin and campus staff, but district-wide being able to expect that students do comply with this, just to have those positive outcomes. So I will read it start to finish. It's not drastically long, and then I'll stand for questions. So our policy 1033, wireless communication device policy, the board recognizes the need to create a distraction-free learning environment, promote social emotional health among students, and to support anti-bullying initiatives. It is therefore the policy of Rio Rancho Public Schools to restrict the use of wireless communication devices during instructional hours. Definitions. 1, wireless communication device means portable electronic device capable of transmitting voice, text, or data, including but not limited to cellular phone, smartphone, or smartwatch, earbuds and headphones, tablet computer, laptop computer, or gaming device. 2, instructional hours means the period at school during which students receive instruction aligned to academic content and performance standards. And 3, powered down means wireless communication devices are switched completely off and not only set in silent or vibrate mode. And wireless communication device use. Use of a wireless communication device is prohibited during instructional hours across all grade levels, preschool, elementary, middle, and high school. All wireless communication devices must be powered down and stored away, example, in a backpack, purse, or locker during instructional hours, unless permitted by licensed personnel for educational purposes. Students shall not infringe upon the privacy and confidentiality of other students or school employees. It is prohibited to use wireless communication devices to record, photograph, or video record others in locker rooms, health offices, restrooms, or anywhere individuals have a reasonable expectation of privacy with or without their consent, or to record, photograph, or video record any students violating school policies or law. 3, use of a school-issued device, example, Chromebooks, will be closely monitored and limited to educational purposes. 4, students who do not comply with this policy will be subject to discipline in accordance with the applicable school's discipline matrix. 5, in emergency situations, licensed personnel may grant students the use of wireless communication devices. C, special circumstances. Students shall be permitted to use a wireless communication device as outlined in an individualized education plan, an IEP, a Section 504 plan, or a health management plan. 1, for accessibility, such as text-to-speech, speech-to-text, or other assistive technologies that aid in communication, navigation, or learning. Or 2, that are medically necessary for a disability or health impairment. And D, digital citizenship instruction. Schools shall provide annual and developmentally appropriate instruction on digital citizenship for grades K through 12. Topics shall include the effects of screen time on children and risks associated with social media. And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, the only question I have is, what is the proposed discipline in accordance with the school's discipline matrix?
So currently, what's nice is, again, these are already in our matrix, so none of these expectations have changed. They just align with the policy. At high school, it is progressive, just like it is at all levels. With that cell phone being one that would start with a warning, and it can progress into anything between in-school suspension to mild out of school 1 to 2 days. There is another portion in all high school, middle, and elementary school that also includes inappropriate use of technology, which is more than our general reminder of, hey, put your cell phone away, stop texting. That's when we see the recording of altercations or anything where students are breaking policies or rules. So it does allow for both of those. So there's definitely higher levels depending on how the phone is being used. They do, like I said, the cell phone, just general use, start with warnings, typically progressing into student picks up at the end of the day, their offense, parent picks up at the end of the day, with the possibility of them not having access to that phone being on campus at all. With that inappropriate use, of course, those are a little different. They're impeding on confidentiality, student rights, et cetera. And that can range anywhere from in-school suspension to out-of-school suspension, with high school being the most stringent, with that first offense being up to 3 days based on principal discretion. with the highest offense being 10 days of banned, and then situationally what that looks like as far as how the device was used inappropriately.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Hubble. I do think it would be beneficial for us to do good communication with our community and the parents this year on this, especially as it's been an initiative that was passed down from the legislature, because I know that parents oftentimes come back to the schools after they can't get a hold of their children, or they're like, why is my child in trouble? Just kind of setting out what those guidelines and expectations are. So I think that could be helpful before the beginning of the school year.
We're definitely going to work on that, and working with our communications office, but really getting it out. I think one of the biggest differences that I think people need to understand, in the past it's been, violating a board policy or violating a school rule. It's now violating a state statute. And so it's a little different, I think, in terms of understanding that it's not just students, but parents and staff. So we need everybody to come together and support it. I think one of the things too, in particular, we need to work on, and we talked about it, and I'm kind of wondering if we should go back and include it in the policy, but that is a mention of school bus. And this applies on the school bus. And so particularly the one where you're filming other kids and things that are going on the bus, I think would be good to add that specific thing in there, because I think a lot of our parents think on the school bus, school's over, and those rules don't apply, but they do. And some of our most egregious situations have happened on school buses. So we may want to add that in specifically for the policy. The other is it's also kind of wraps around another growing situation that we have had, and I think all school districts have had, is that when there's an incident, instead of going for help, they whip out the phones and start filming it. This is going to be a violation of this policy, and it's also going to be a violation of state law. But I think above what's the law, it's more of what's right. And so in a fight situation, we need our students not to be involved in it. We need them to quickly go get help from a teacher, get help from an administrator, and be proactive in trying to turn this around instead of whipping out the phones and watching it. And so that's the work we've got to do with our kids. It's just it's the time and place that we live in today. That's what everybody does. But we need to try to turn that around. And it's really disheartening to see a fight or something where someone's been seriously hurt. If they had gone for help quicker, might not have been as bad. So I do agree we need to reach out to parents, either, and I'm thinking about maybe a letter to all parents via email or something, really hitting the highlights of this, but making it very clear we're going to enforce it as a school district, and also asking our staff to be 100% on board to support this new regulation. Again, it's not so much to be mean, but it really does make a difference. And screen time, the research it's just growing and growing about the damage that's being done to our children with too much screen time. So it's putting those phones away is in their best interest. And I think we've got a lot of parents now who are saying we'd like to have less screen time. Sometimes they're asking it of us, and in turn we need to be asking that of them as well. But thank you for your presentation. We're just 100% behind this change in statute because it benefits students, and we do plan to enforce it next year.
Any other questions, concerns? Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Mhm.
Next, we'll have the consideration award of RFP number 2025-19-FIN Food and Beverage Vending Machine Service by the one and only Mr. Michael McDray.
Thank you, Vice President Morgan. Members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Cleveland, the requested action for this afternoon is to solicit a multiple award for RFP 2025-019-FIN for food and beverage vending machine services to be issued to City Vending 2 LLC Free Healthy Vending, and KRL Enterprises LLC. I want to give a little bit of background how we got to the point of needing this RFP or this procurement. We were asked, how did certain vending machines get placed either at the schools or at district office? What contracts are in place? What's the term of those contracts? What's the servicing of those units out there? Why are certain products not in the machine? And the answer is we don't know for some of those machines. A lot of these contracts were signed before we started investigating this. The other questions is, are the machines Smart Snack compliant? Are we meeting all the different regulations that require when they're placing at the schools? Then I would get inquiries from the vendors. Well, how do I get my machine at the schools? How do we get an opportunity to put our equipment out there and our products out there? And then the last piece of it is there's an opportunity to generate some revenue from the machines off the gross sales. So because of those questions, we thought the most equitable way to address those is to initiate the RFP that you had before you. So the RFP will address the requirements of the vendors to ensure compliance with applicable regulations and provide quality service, ensuring student and staff access to healthy and compliant snack and beverage options. The vendor shall provide, install, maintain, service vending machines at designated RRPS locations. The scope of work that is required but is not totally limited to this is placement of the vending machines in designated school and administrative locations, stocking the machines with snacks and beverages compliant with USDA Smart Snacks in school standards and other relevant state public health orders, ensuring all vending machines accept digital and card payments, including but not limited to credit cards, debit cards, and mobile payment options, providing regular service, maintenance, and timely restocking of the vending machines to ensure functionality and product availability, addressing service requests of any machine malfunctioning within a 24-hour response period. We received a total of 3 responses to the solicitation. Responses were received from City Vending 2 LLC, Free and Healthy Vending, KRL Enterprises Incorporated. When the committee evaluated the proposals, each proposal had a little different flavor to it, a little different functionality options. And so what we don't want to do is impact the need at either the location of the schools or within the departments. So we feel it's in the best interest of the district is to put the options out and let the principals or the directors decide what's best for their particular facility use. So the request for you this afternoon is to solicit all 3 vendors an award. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
All right. Thank you. Any questions?
I have 2 minor questions. I'm guessing they're just errors, but it says the responses received 6 proposals in response to the procurement. And then on the second page, it also says the matrix further identifies Gibson Consulting Group Incorporated as the highest ranked offer. That's what we have in our packet on that, or it was sent to us. I'm just guessing those are just errors. We'll stick with just the 3 proposed. No problem. Okay, just want to confirm. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Jessica. Anything else? All right, I'll take a motion and approval, please.
I'll make a motion to award RFP number 2025-019-FIN Food and Beverage Vending Machine Services to Food and Beverage Vending Machine Service to City Vending, to LLC, Free Healthy Vending, and KRL Enterprise.
Lauren, he's going to make the change. We could still approve this. We just got to make sure we get changes, right? Okay. Jason, you want to take a vote on this, please?
Did we get a second?
I'm sorry, Gary, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Gary Tripp, second.
Yeah. My bad. Okay. Just don't want to forget that. Now, Jason, you can go ahead and take the vote.
Yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Vice President Morgan?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate
I
that.
would just add, I just want to emphasize, you still have to adhere to the nutritional standards that are set down by the state. So I don't want folks think we're loading up on soda and some of the other things that used to go in those vending machines.
All right. Thank you. Now we're at the advanced planning. July 21st, executive session. Then we have July 28th, adult audit, committee meeting. July 28th, regular board meeting. August 6th, secondary jump start day. August 7th, first day of school. Like you said, already here.
It is.
Just thinking about it, right? I have to tell you, Claudia, that countdown didn't make me feel good at all. I mean, man, just think about that, huh? And then August 11th, finance committee meeting, and then August 11th, a regular board meeting. Or any other questions, concerns?
I am going to be out of town on the 28th. I will try to join remotely, but may not be able to because I'll be on the East Coast. So I will likely miss that meeting.
I'll be out as well.
Same day?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll hang out with you guys.
I thought you was gonna say me too. I thought you was gonna say me too. It's like, uh-oh. Okay, guys, got that? Anything else? But nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job.
You can go home and cook that pizza now, man.
Yeah.
It's one long, huh? Let me sign this, man.
Mike, Chavez. Mike, Chavez. Since Jessica may be gone, why don't we just hold that personnel report then until the first meeting in August? Is that, yeah, because, August